Up for Game 2 in Miami. Steven Strasburg faces the Marlins for the 6th time since last April and the 20th time in 113 career starts. Game 2 in Miami, some late afternoon dark skies. Hey, but we're inside. We are secure and hoping for some offense as the Nats and the Marlins play the second game of this 3-game series, second game of a long road trip. Bob and FP, you know, we talk at times about run support for starters. One thing I don't think we've ever talked about, run support for the bullpen. Our young guys out there are working without any margin of error right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The young guys working big-time innings, and the offense really hasn't scored them a whole lot of runs. When you look at the experience of the bullpen, check out the innings for Aaron Barrett. 48 big league innings, Tanner Roark just 32. And you Trinan, Martine, and Grace, these guys are all babies out there. And they're coming in, Carp, in tie games or up by one situations. They've never really had a 3-run cushion to just go out there and work on things. You see the pink backpacks, that tells it all. Rookies wear pink backpacks out to the bullpen. And so I think, you know, everybody concerned about the Nats bullpen, there should be a little more concern about the offense to give these guys some room to breathe a little bit. But you're hoping that all these high-stress, intense innings as young guys has a positive effect in September when these games are going to count for real.
And maybe if a starter goes just a little bit deeper, that'll help things as well. Steven Strasburg gets that call tonight. Very familiar with the Marlins, and you loved the way he threw on Sunday.
Well, I love the changeup, and you see it right there. We're going to keep an eye on it today. I think his whole start every time out goes around the changeup. Everybody talks about the fastball and curveball, but he threw it 23% of the time last time against the Phillies. His start before that against Boston, just 13%, and his first start, 12%. So we had a good feel for the changeup. If he's throwing it for a strike early in the count and he's using it with 2 strikes, he's going to have a big day here against the Marlins.
Yeah, he helped the Nats nail down 3 out of 4 against the Phillies last weekend. Some of the key matchups, Giancarlo Stanton has 3 career homers against him with 9 RBIs. That'll be a power matchup as we move through this series. Strasburg's had a couple of clunkers here, but for the most part, a great pitcher's ballpark.
Yeah, and I still think it goes back to your initial point. The offense has got to pick it up. They got to give Steven Strasburg some cushion, give that bullpen some cushion. You're looking for another big start from Strasburg, whose mechanics were perfect last time. Matt Williams said it's the best he's ever seen him, so why not expect that again and expect some offense?
Hey, there's another guy who's still a baby, Bryce Harper. He's getting it done offensively, hitting .286, 4 homers, 10 RBIs, leads the majors in walks. He's in the top 10 in the National League in on-base percentage. More on the offense coming. the league in hitting. They're 10th in runs. And here with the folks wandering the ballpark, getting ready for baseball, they'd like to generate a whole lot more offense tonight at spacious Marlins Park. Right now, Ian Desmond and Bryce Harper, though, are doing their parts.
Now, Ian Desmond in the middle of a 10-game hitting streak, 17 for his last 42, 405 average, 5 doubles and a tater. Then Bryce Harper had a really nice night last night. Base hit bunt, an RBI single, sac fly to deep right center field. So those two guys are swinging it. They just want their buddies to jump in and join the party.
They have Bryce leveling off for an RBI there. Got the Nats on top a couple of times last night, but it just didn't hold up. Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Sales event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. So those guys are hot. Jason Worth, 9 games since coming back, 5 for 33. And Wilson Ramos in a bit of a short RBI drought, but he has driven in 8 on the year. So we're getting ready. Everybody welcome in Marlins Park except hitters. It's just not that friendly a place. Game 2, we've got some curly W's. And we got Steven Strasburg in the house tonight. Lots of bobbleheads, lots of infield dirt, and hopefully one of those curly W's. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you.
He quits, Ryan Zerman.
Is it something we said? You had a double last night.
He's quit.
You never know about the weather from one 10-minute span to the other here in the Miami area. So the Nats awaiting the arrival of the Marlins. We got some game notes for you. Steven Strasburg. It'll be, as we said, 20th career start against Miami, 9 wins. Struck out at least 5 batters each of his last 9 starts. Bryce Harper, they're just walking him and walking him. At least a walk in 9 straight games. And Tom Kohler, FPU noted in his last start, once the Mets got anybody on base and he was in the stretch, it got kind of ugly. More on that in a moment. Here's the Nats lineup. Escobar at the top of the lineup, back in the leadoff spot. He's hit safely in 13 of his last 14 games. On base 14 ball games in a row. And there's a shift in the outfield. Denard Span, and I talked to Denard today, he was ready for a day off. And Bryce Harper replaces him in center field. Here's Tom Kohler.
Yeah, 2-seam, 4-seam fastball, 93. The breaking balls are the slider and the curve. He's got a great curve, knuckle curve, probably his best pitch. Doesn't throw a changeup very often. He didn't throw one in his last start. Kind of a deceptive delivery. And we're going to talk about his last start a lot tonight. As you look at, he takes him out for the 4th time this year. 6.75 ERA. Gave up 7 runs in his last start against the Mets in just 3 1/3. He was perfect through 3 innings. Curtis Granderson led off the 4th with a base hit. All of a sudden, Tom Kohler had to go to the stretch. And once he got into the stretch, the floodgates opened. And there was bases loaded, Carp, a bunch of times in this rally the Mets had going. And Kohler stayed in the stretch. As a pitcher, you have an option to go into windup with the bases loaded. He was perfect in the windup. He stayed in the stretch with the bases loaded. And you saw he gave up 7 runs. I have no idea why He didn't go back to the windup. Let's have the defense for the Marlins here tonight. Suzuki, Ozuna, Stanton the outfield. Echeverria, Prado left side. Gordon, Bohr right side. And JT Real Muto behind the plate.
Well, Denard Span's back. Escobar doing most of the leading off until he got back. And against the Phillies at home Thursday the 16th. First pitch of the ball game. Something that had never happened to Cole Hamels before.
And 277 starts to that point. Cole Hamels had never given up a leadoff home run. And Escobar did it.
Yeah, that was Escobar's first home run as a National. So here he is tonight. We're going to be a little late getting started. 1 for 4 career with an RBI against Tom Kohler, the 28-year-old right-hander from the Bronx. Hit the ball sharply to the shortstop on the first pitch at 4:11. Danny Echeverria takes care of that. Crew Chief Joe West, the dean of all Major League umpires, is behind the plate. He's had that broom since the 1970s. Gabe Morales, Kerwin Danley, and DJ Rayburn. Maybe the 80s. Around the bases.
I think I said first hitter of the game was the first time he'd given up on a first pitch.
Got it. So there goes true ambush.
So there goes my perfect game.
I'll try to take mine into the second.
That took long.
92 to the inside corner on Ian Desmond. Doubled in 4 trips last night. Ian, 10-game hitting streak now. 17 for 42. Fastball up, foul tipped it. He has 3 career hits and 11 trips against Tom Kohler.
Guys like Kohler are tough because they have a slow delivery and then he kind of jumps at you at the last second. A lot of deception in his delivery. He'll show you his numbers, kind of turn his back to you, hide the baseball, then throw the glove at you.
Ooh. Ian Desmond walks away. Nasty curveball.
That's the knuckle curve from Tom Kohler. And if you see the way he grips it, for those of you that don't know, he's kind of got one finger in the air. His index finger, the knuckles digging in the baseball. His middle finger's in the air. We'll show it to you later.
Top of the order did virtually nothing last night. Desmond had that double. But Span, Desmond, and Worth were a combined 1 for 10. And Jason Worth was 0 for 3. Did draw a base on balls late in the game. A couple of career long balls against Tom Kohler. So he goes up hacking. That one's hit to deep right center. And at the edge of the track. Pulled in by Marcell Ozuna. And I do believe that was a 5-pitch top of the first.
With the bottle opener on him. Check it out. He's got it on right now.
Wow.
And if you had one of those hats or have them, you know that the left side of your bill is way heavier than the right. I mean, that thing is heavy.
Yeah. People complained of a lot of headaches after that promotion. I'm not sure we'll do that again. Here come the Marlins. They're hitting .252, fifth in the league, sixth in runs. And D. Gordon, this guy's on a tear. He's hitting .400 at home, leads the major leagues in hits with 27. And they've only played 17 games. And he also has a .396 batting average against right-handed pitchers. He's got a tough one to face tonight.
Yeah, last start, fastball 61% of the time, changeup 23% of the time. And we always say the key to a Steven Strasburg start, for me at least, is that changeup early in the count for a strike and late in the count for strike 3.
95 down the middle to start his night.
Fourth start of the year. Earned his first win last time out against the Phillies on the 19th. 7 1/3, 5 hits, 7 strikeout. Matt Williams said it's the best he's ever seen him.
.344 career ERA in 19 starts against Miami. 9 wins, 5 losses. D. Gordon 2 for 9 against Steven, who tries to bolt that fastball up to the inside edge, and he just missed. 2-1. Escobar on the grass at third. Other infielders not playing that deep. Ball 3.
Joe West with a small strike zone here early.
You can see Espinosa's up a few steps. Right in there.
I mean, the key to this whole series is keeping this guy off the base. He's a game changer when he gets on. I mean, it's that simple.
On a pitch up, he fouls it away. Marlins made that deal with the Dodgers. They got Dan Herron and Miguel Rojas for 4 players, including Chris Hatcher. And Mike Redmond's ball club gets a bona fide superstar potential leadoff guy who's only 26 years old. Left side, Desmond. And I think the official score here at the ballpark is going to put up the H for that one. Yeah, didn't take him long. That's a base hit to start the game.
Well, it was a hit either way, whether he fielded it or not. We're going to look at where Ian Desmond starts right here. You got to pinch in against a guy like D. Gordon. What's that do as an infielder? You see how Ian Desmond's 3 steps on the dirt? Usually Desmond starts on the grass, but because of the speed of Gordon, you have to cheat in. When you cheat in like that, now your angles are different to the baseball. You cut down your range, and that's why he couldn't get to that. You're going to be safe whether you fielded it or not.
Yeah. Here's Prado, who had that huge RBI in the 8th inning. The eventual winning run for the Marlins. That's about all the 2, 3, 4 hitters in their lineup did last night. They went 1 for 12. He's had 5 multi-hit games in his last 8 times out. 5 career hits against Strasburg. The Nationals against opposing base runners. Runners have stolen 8 of 9 against Wilson Ramos and 13 of 14 against the Nationals as a team. So they've tried to slow down some running games. They just haven't thrown many out. Good jump by Gordon. Ramos gets it to Desmond. He's out. Boy, he had a good jump, and Ramos made up the distance and a good tag as well.
He hesitated, Cart. When you looked down, you saw him go, but you saw the shuffle right there, and that broke up his rhythm. So he did initially get a good jump, like you said, but he didn't trust it. The fact that he didn't trust the jump gave Wilson Ramos the opportunity to throw him out.
Everybody looking toward the Marlins dugout right now. You know, FP, something that's often overlooked on these plays, what the shortstop or the second baseman does with a throw to get it down to the runner. And he has Desmond got that glove down in a hurry, and they're going to challenge.
They're going to look at it, and we'll look at it again. Hard to tell right there. D. Gordon strongly disagrees. The Marlins are going to look at it in their clubhouse. But if he would have trusted his initial jump, he would have stole that standing up. Just a little hesitation gave Ramos a chance, and Gordon showing the body language to Ian Desmond. And I ducked my shoulder away from the tag and got my hand in there.
Well, because the call did go in the Nats' favor, it'll have to be indisputable to overturn it. Very close.
I mean, on the Jumbotron, that looked like he was out from that angle.
You know, the crowd's trying to sell it, but I've seen both replays they've seen, and now a third.
I don't think there's enough there.
I don't know if they can overturn this. I agree.
I think he's out, and if he's not, I don't think there's enough there to overturn it. And I'm sure the Marlins broadcaster's saying he's clearly safe. No, he's out.
I mean, his hand's on the other side of the bag from that center field shot, so it's just really hard to tell exactly when the hand hits the bag. You know, and their scoreboard's milking the heck out of this thing. They're going to show it, I think I just saw it for the 5th time, and now 6.
It's bang bang either way.
Umpires are looking at the screen, but it's out of their hands. Umpire at second base, by the way, the man on your left, Kerwin Danley. This is big early in the game. Strasburg standing around. Here comes the headset.
Survey says
he's out.
Well, Mike Redmond just used a challenge for the night. I
think that's the first one he's missed this year.
26 outs to go.
Had to be indisputable.
He's shaking his head right now. Like, why did we challenge so early? I've heard stories from coaches on other teams of, yes, let's challenge it. And as soon as they send their manager out to challenge it, the clubhouse changes their mind and they're like, no, 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 no. And it's too late because they've already said we're going to challenge.
Yeah, they had been 3 for 3 before that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, pretty good throw by Wilson Ramos.
Strasburg's curveball blown away. Martin Prado, 297. Again, Strasburg career 5 for 22 with 4 walks. Challenge fastball. Well hit right field. Over to grab it, the former Marlin Reed Johnson.
A little different look for the Nats tonight on defense. Bryce Harper in center field for Denard Span, who ran all over the joint last night. He gets the night off. Reed Johnson in right. The rest standard. Danny Espinosa back in there. Dan Uggla played second last night, so.
Bryce gets to roam tonight.
He loves playing center field.
Giancarlo Stanton, strike 1. And a footnote on Reed Johnson in right field, 113 games with the Marlins last year. Curveball slapped into left. Steven got more of the plate than he wanted to. And after going 0 for 4 last night with 2 Ks, Stanton first base hit of the series. And he's now 11 for 29 career against Steven Strasburg.
Stanton 2 stolen bases on the year, has been caught once.
It's 379 against Strauss for Stanton. Marlins have stolen 12 bases, been caught 7 times. 3rd most steals in the National League. Now the play at second base looks big after the Stanton base hit. And this one hit the other way by Ozuna. That's well fouled into the right field corner.
Well, in case you missed the game last night, Marcell Ozuna, very passive early in the season for the Marlins. He was taking a lot of pitches. He was 0-2. They told him to be more aggressive. You see right there, swing at the first pitch. Even during batting practice yesterday, Rob Leary was throwing him, the Marlins coach was throwing a BP saying attack, attack, attack after every pitch. So they want him to be aggressive early in the count. There's Rob Leary.
He's on a 6-game hitting streak with that approach. That one further foul. And Ozuna's had great career success against Strasburg. He's never hit a cleanup home run. 250 in this spot in the lineup. But he's 6 for 13 against Steven with a homer, 5 RBIs. Another kid with a lot of upside. He's only 24. 23 home runs last year. 0-2 pitch. A bouncer and a good stop by Ramos. And that was a swing evidently as well. Ozuna's gone. You talk about burying a curveball. Here's our Honda do-up for the top of the second. We've already told you about Bryce Harper and all the numbers. What we'll tell you now is he's seeing the ball really well. A good reason for his production and all those walks.
A lot of people dressed like blue seats tonight here. Very small crowd once again. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
Marlins are averaging 20,000, 320 a game. Here's Bryce. 16 hits in 56 at-bats. Tailing to the outside corner with 91. Harper 2 for 13 against Tom Kohler with a homer, 2 RBIs. Such a big knuckle curve as you talked about. Hard to center that ball. It's got so much dip to it.
Well, it really isn't if it starts high. If it starts around, you know, the logo on your helmet, it's going to be belt high when it gets there. And when you see a knuckle curve, Carp, it kind of pops out of his hand high, so you can recognize it. If it starts belt high, it's going to be in the dirt, and you have to take it. But those go a long way because there's not a lot of tilt or depth to it. It's just straight down 12-6 on the clock. Where you get into trouble is if it starts letter high and you offer at it.
Target in. That would indicate fastball, and he missed by several gloves out and several gloves up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kohler's control numbers: 9 strikeouts, 7 walks in just under 16 innings. He goes off speed with the hook in the dirt.
Did you see where that started, Carp? That started letter high. So as a hitter, you see the knuckle curve out of his hand, starts letter high, you know it's going to be low. Make that thing start above your letters. That's the one you get on.
Bryce Harper's out. That was high in the zone, and Joe West rang him up. 4 in a row, 2 Ks.
Little cut to that fastball right there. He'll cut it, he'll sink it. That one looked like the top of the zone.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman. Double in 4 trips last night. And that one just enough cut at the end to get out to the end of the bat. Giancarlo Stanton for the second out.
These very Marlins you're looking at right now are going to come to Nats Park on Monday, May 4th for a 3-game set. I think that's going to be Jordan Zimmerman, Steven Strasburg, and Gio Gonzalez. Livan Hernandez bobblehead night in that series. Second 10-year Tuesday of the season in that series. So visit Nationals.com to purchase your tickets today.
You're chopping pitching matchups on us a week and a half ahead of time here.
It's weird. It's almost like it's on the promo.
Would Livan throw out the first pitch on his bobblehead night?
57-mile-an-hour curveball. Yes, he should.
And if it starts out just under the lights, it'll drop into the strike zone. Wilson Ramos rams a fastball into right. Had a pitch up, knew what to do with it. 13th hit of the year. And he's now 2 for 5 against Tom Kohler.
Well, we said before the game, get Kohler in the stretch. That would be the key. Nice swing by Wilson Ramos. Little inside-out piece. Hands inside the baseball. Bullet to right. And there goes the no-hitter.
Here's Reed Johnson. 235 with a couple of home runs for the Marlins last year. 187 at bats. Had 15 doubles. Right in there from his former teammate. With other ball clubs, he faced Kohler once. 0 for 1. Batting 7th in the lineup tonight. And he flares one out to center. Reed Johnson drops one in. Back-to-back hits. You might remember that stat we dropped on you last night. The Nationals with 2 outs this year. One of the leading get-a-hit teams in baseball. Problem is there haven't been that many guys on base prior to 2 outs.
Well, good for Reed Johnson getting a spot start today. When you don't play every day and you check in with a knock your first time up, it just makes the whole rest of the game easier. You don't know when the next time you're going to play is. You got a knock under your belt. Now you can just relax and watch Danny Espinosa hit.
Danny has started 10 games. He's been on base in 8 of them. Pitchers on deck. There is a base open, even though it's third. And we'll see how carefully they pitch Danny Espinosa here. 6 hits, 30 at bats. And from the left side, he's 6 for 25. Nothing at all close to the plate on the first 2.
Get him in the stretch.
Would he see a fastball here with the pitcher on deck? He will. Ball rolled over to the right side. And then Justin Bour to the pitcher. The Nats get a couple of 2-out hits and strand their first 2 of the night.
Marlins Park. Matt Williams said that Steven Strasburg's last start was the best that Williams had ever seen Strasburg, and part of that was due to the way that Strasburg added and subtracted from the velocity of his fastball. Strasburg can sit at 95, 96 if he wants to, but Williams said the key is a fastball that's located well. So if Strasburg can sit at 92, 93 with movement and locate it well like he did his last time, he has the potential to be even more effective. Then he can reach back for 96 or 97 when he wants it. Williams said another positive from that last start is Strasburg threw his curveball and changeup in every count and did so for strikes. That'll be important today against the Marlins because they're a team that hunts fastballs, and they've been very aggressive against Strasburg in the past.
All right, thank you, Dan. Here's George Mason's Justin Bour, Virginia boy. And that was Dan Kokel with our Coons.com sideline report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Bour called up yesterday. He was hitting .275 with a homer, 5 RBIs at AAA New Orleans.
I wonder where Steven Strasburg got the whole I'm going to sit at 93 and reach back for 97 thing from.
Guy named Max?
Yeah. Could be the Max Scherzer effect right there. He's watching a guy that goes out there every 5th day that can throw 97, 98, sit at 92, 93, and when he needs it, he goes to the well.
And as long as there's movement, as Dan said, 92, 93 plays in this league, that's for sure. Justin Bour, 284 for the Marlins in 39 games last year, with his first big league homer and 11 RBIs. He went to Westfield High School in Chantilly and then on to George Mason. Drafted by the Cubs in the 25th round in 09, the Marlins got him as a Rule 5 guy 2 years ago. He's a big man with some pop. Leadoff walk. First 5 batters, the Marlins have their 3rd runner. More on the Scherzer effect from Dan.
Bob, this is actually a Max Scherzer injury update. Unfortunately, he jammed his thumb in his last start and was set to throw a normal bullpen session today, but the Nationals have bumped that back because the swelling is still there in Scherzer's thumb. They're going to see if he can throw that bullpen tomorrow. He's going to get treatment on the thumb today. The hope is that he'll be able to throw it tomorrow or at least do some kind of throwing, maybe even on flat ground. They need to have him do some throwing before his next scheduled start on Tuesday.
Did that on that Butcher boy when he hit the ground ball to shortstop his last start. Showed bunt, pulled it back, hit the ground ball to short.
Well, we'll have to keep a day-to-day look at that. Tuesday, of course, would be Atlanta. Anything 2 days late or more would be New York on this trip.
Whatever lines him up with Matt Harvey, I'm all for it. I want to see that. Maybe next Saturday night when the Pacquiao fight is.
Inside the numbers with STG. Career against the East, Strasburg. More wins against the Marlins than any other. Best percentage against the Phillies. On occasion, he has really shut down this Miami offense. He has started against them 9 times without allowing an earned run. Doesn't mean he won all those games or pitched shutouts. Run support comes into play there. Reed Johnson gets the can of corn off the bat of Real Muto. And next up, it'll be the first ever Steven Strasburg Ichiro Suzuki matchup.
In your scorecard, do you put Ichiro Suzuki or just Ichiro? Just Ichiro. That's what I do too, yeah.
Yeah. Certain guys, you know. I used to write Ozzy. For years, I've written Zim for Ryan. It's a lot of letters every day.
I know.
You know, certain guys.
It's just a lot of work.
I'm sure the Marlin guys don't write Saltalamacchia every day when he's playing.
I mean, we'd all have carpal tunnel syndrome if we had to do that.
Well, Ichiro, whatever you want to call him, and it's even on the back of his jersey.
He's actually a funny guy. There were some times in Seattle when he would get to second base, you start chatting with him. And at that time, he had very limited English, and it's all he knew was bad words. And it was hilarious when he would get to second base.
How you going?
Yeah, I can't repeat our conversations, but they were pretty funny.
.284 hits at the big league level. That's a Strasburg curveball blocked by Ramos. Ichiro is 41 now. Marlins signed him to a one-year deal January 28th after he hit .284 with 102 hits for the Yankees last year. Kind of interesting. He hasn't hit .300 since 2010 in Seattle. Rookie of the Year 14 years ago. Embarked on 10 straight All-Star games and 10 straight Gold Gloves. 2 batting titles. And there were 2 other times he hit .351. Magalio Ordonez beat him out. He hit .352 one year, and Joe Mauer beat him out by percentage points.
262 hits in 2004. I think that's where the conversation stops. 242 hits in 2001. That's when the Mariners won 116 games. But 262 hits in 2004.
8 times 200 hits or more in a year.
That's just going home happy every night. Every night. 1 for 4, you're like bumming.
2-2 pitch. Bore a very short lead. Strasburg steps off. Ichiro and Lou Gehrig appearing in the same sentence. Only 2 guys ever with 8 consecutive years of 200 hits and 100 runs. Nobody else. He guides it out to second. 1 hopper. Espinosa. Desmond knows he has to be in a hurry.
Well, we told you all that so he'd hit into a 4-6-3 double play.
He's a great hitter, but Strasburg gets him the first time they ever meet on a 4-6-3. This one heading into the top of the third. Nicely turned, and Desmond had to be quick.
Was it or wasn't it? And we're going to show you why you don't use your challenge early in the game. Ichiro was safe on that. And if you remember in the first inning, Mike Redmond used his challenge on the caught stealing by D. Gordon at second base. He's out of challenges. He could have challenged that. That would have probably been reversed. And Adeiny Echeverria is one of the hottest Marlins hitters, period. He's got 6 hits in his last 2 games. He would have come up, maybe turn the lineup over, maybe not. We'll never know because he used his challenge already and he's out of them. That's a big bottle.
Time for a cool one. Top of the third coming up.
Cindy Lou Who. Look at those eyes. Adorable.
Steven Strasburg 0 for 3 career against Tom Kohler. Takes one outside. Third inning underway. Kohler 21 pitches, 14 strikes. First 2 frames. Kohler career 16 and 23. 60th big league start. Strasburg on a fastball. It's a long way foul right side. Everybody knew Tom Kohler would be in the big leagues when he went 17-19 with a 4.88 ERA in his career at Stony Brook University. Why, something developed to make him a major league worthy pitcher. That's a high chopper that hit near the plate or on the plate, and the pitcher takes care of it unassisted.
Nats Plus is back for 2015 and features incredible benefits, including discounts, exclusive events, and more. For a limited time, new members can also receive an official 10th anniversary Nationals jersey. That's while supplies last. Go to nationals.com/Nats Plus and join right now.
Yunel Escobar just obliterated the front line of the batter's box as he steps in. Hit the ball sharply, leading off the game. One hopper to the shortstop. And that knuckle curve had him flexing and bailing. Ball one.
I mean, his at-bats are events. You have to watch the body language between pitches.
Laid off the high fastball.
Just shaking his head. No, 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 no. It's up. I mean, he talks to himself. He's so animated, some flair to his game, which I like. I mean, I would say as he strides out of the box, you see how forward he is. I mean, he's the one Nat really that just has swagger to his game right now. You could maybe argue that Bryce does, Ian at times, but this team is lacking that sparkle in their eye, that swagger that they had last year. And in my opinion, Escobar is the one guy that has it.
Digging the burgundy bat, too. 2-1. He waited on that curveball, didn't hit it that hard, but he's got himself a knock into right center.
And this game's all about confidence, and it seems like Escobar's the one guy that has it every single day, every at-bat, on offense, on defense, every part of his game. So the curveball that buckled him on the first pitch, he stands tall on this one, shoots it to right. Nice at-bat for you now.
He's now hit safely in 14 of his last 15 games. And he's on base for the 15th game in a row as STG takes us inside some productive numbers. Whether he's hitting second or leading off. And here's Ian Desmond.
And I think collectively, Carp, as a group, you have to remember you're the defending champs. People have to compete with you. They have to come up to your level, not the other way around.
Good call. Counts even, 1-1. Desmond caught looking on a big hook first time up. 10-game streak overall, 9-game streak in the last half season or so against the Marlins. Extended that with an opposite field double last night. That was close.
And they can't appeal it even if they got him.
Gabe Morales on the call.
Did they get him? Negative.
.93 just missing away. Little count leverage here for Desmond with a runner at first, one out. Marlins cheating up the middle for a double play ball. A lot of hitting room through the right side. Seems like lately when Ian goes the other way, a double more often than a single. He has 7 doubles, 6 most in the league. And a late breaking slide piece there. 2-2. So you couple that with a home run and a triple, 8 extra base hits. Tried to come front door with that curve, that knuckle curve, and it's 3-2.
And Desmond tried to throw an elbow into it, get on base.
Isan tracks the at bat from up and in to down and away.
See if Matt Williams decides to start Escobar. I don't know with Ian Desmond a strikeout candidate if he will. Dean's been swinging it well, though, so see what the skipper does.
Nats are 3 out of 9 in stolen base attempts. 3-2 to Desmond. Runner holding. Desmond kind of off the end of the bat, and Ozuna in right center for the second out. For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report, and Michael A. Taylor's offense is doing exactly what it did at the big league level. 7 hits in 4 games with Syracuse, a homer, 3 RBIs, and he was not bad at all with the Nats. He did some leading off. He batted 8th a few times. Maybe a little more confidence to his defensive game, which is considered his strength. And he'll have a long career ahead in the big leagues. Worth takes a strike on the outside half. Hit the ball well first time. Fly ball to Ozuna in this spacious ballpark. .80 on the hook. Well, there's a huge gap in left center. 100 feet of space down the left field line. But a tough 0-2 battle here. Kohler keeping it away, and Jason fouls it that way.
Jason Worth coming tonight has 33 at-bats. And when you talk about spring training, that's halfway through camp. That takes guys another 10, 15 at-bats, maybe 20 more, and he'll be right. He's still searching. The at-bats haven't been bad. The results haven't been there, but, I mean, he's mid-March right now.
Way outside, got him. 3 Ks for Tom Kohler, who will bat second in a scoreless game.
Sleep on this play. D. Gordon's safe right here. He has a chance to steal third. You never know. But a great throw by the Buffalo. Good tag by Ian Desmond, getting it down there quick. They would review the play. The Marlins challenged. It stood, and now the Marlins have no challenges as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Yunel Escobar doing his thing. 15-game on-base streak.
So is Strasburg. 32 pitches, 18 strikes. And he misses up and in. You know, watching that last replay, I don't think it was indisputable evidence. I think he was out. Looked to me like Desmond got that tag before I saw the hand kind of come up when he made contact with the bag. Of course, that's a couple of innings ago. It's water under the causeway here in Miami. And we continue in the bottom of the 3rd. Don't want to walk this guy and let the pitcher get a bunt situation. And that's a strike to Echeverria.
Well, the league sent an email and said after reviewing all relevant angles, the replay official determined there was no evidence to confirm or overturn the call on the field that the runner was tagged out on the left shoulder before he reached second. It says call stands all in caps like they're screaming at me. Call stands. And the runner is out at second base. They didn't need to put all caps on the stands. Why are they yelling at me?
Did they get a speech writer for that?
Look at they're yelling.
I know,
they're
I'm looking
screaming at me in this email.
Safe or out, that's all I want to know.
They're listening.
2-2 pitch. Having fun with those guys. Hey, they're getting it right more often than not. And I saw a report yesterday that said so far the speed up the game initiatives have sliced off 8 minutes on the average in 9-inning major league games.
What would I do if I didn't have those 8 minutes?
That's a great curveball by Steven Strasburg. Echeverria walks the other way. Steven, second strikeout. And for the first time tonight, Mercedes-Benz will show you how he retires a leadoff hitter.
Nasty curveball right here. You see Echeverria giving up on it. Comes back right over the plate for a strike. I guess if we didn't have those 8 minutes, when we're waiting for an Uber after the game that says 8 minutes, it would really be 16 minutes. So that's good.
Strike call to Kohler. I'm not speechless very often, but I'm with you. 8 minutes is 8 minutes.
It's right.
Time it by 162, and we're all going to live a whole lot longer.
It's like 14 weeks.
Kohler 1 for 5 in his big league career. 7 for 95. Can't catch up with that high heat. 95. He's 1 for 3 career against Steven Strasburg. Have to find out if that number included the Yankees Red Sox series. Nasty hook on a hop to Ramos. It requires a throw. 2 outs.
That might have been his best curveball of the year. Watch how sharp this is. You don't want to say he wasted it on the opposing pitcher, but that was just filth.
You know what I was thinking with the opposing pitcher? He probably didn't try to throw the greatest curveball of his life.
Great point.
And it turned into a really good one.
Great point.
You know, because you've said this before. Sometimes when you try to grind it out
or overthrow
it doesn't go well.
I wouldn't know, but that's what the pitchers all talk about when they try to throw. When they throw a good slider, a good curve, and they try to throw a better one, but sometimes they hang it.
All right, from either side of the plate, best curveball you had to face.
Darryl Kyle had a great one.
Yeah.
He comes to mind. Faced Doc Gooden at the end, too. His was nasty. Still.
0-2 to D. Gordon, who singled off Ian Desmond's glove first time. Ian had no chance to throw him out anyway. It was to deep short. He makes contact on 0-2, and Danny Espinosa will throw him out. And that's a really quick third inning for Steven Strasburg. Worry about Gordon about 45 minutes from now. No score. college, the happiest man who ever played for the Washington Nationals. Cubs had him played shallow. Will Nieves walks off the Cubs. It was the first time, and that was in 08 on this date, a right-handed batter hit a home run into the opposite field bullpen. The Nats went crazy, pounding on their buddy Will Nieves, and that was a fun moment 7 years ago. And Will, who broke into the big leagues in 02, is still in the major leagues. He broke in with San Diego, and he's still with the Padres. What a great guy, Will Nieves.
Do you have a pen I could borrow?
A pen?
A pen.
Yeah. I believe she does.
Got a couple.
Now, if that guy with the bottle opener cap would put a couple of those on the opposite side,
yes,
he'd be well balanced.
Equal it out.
Here's Bryce Harper, 4th inning, outside.
We need to rally something.
Rally pins?
Goose egg. I don't like goose eggs on the scoreboard. We need to rally something.
Harper struck out looking first time. High fastball. Look out here, it's 2-0.
The one thing you have to guard against as a hitter when you're walking a lot is becoming passive and seeing too many pitches. And I think Bryce has a nice balance going right now where he's not doing that. You know, Joey Votto's been criticized a lot for walking too much. But that's a pitch right there that maybe he's not used to seeing a 2-0 fastball.
Yeah. Bryce is on base percentage, by the way. 9th highest in the league at .438. And a little tapper that he hopes stays foul.
That's why I thought what Barry Bonds did was so amazing. He would walk 7 times in a row, and you'd finally throw one like that 2-0 fastball to Bryce, and he'd hit it in the water.
Yeah.
He'd walk 15 times in a series and get one pitch to hit, and he wouldn't miss it. He was always ready to pounce on your mistake. He's the one hitter I saw that never would get into those ruts of, you know, I'm not used to seeing a strike. They're not going to throw me a strike. You could get into those funks, but he was always ready for something right down the middle, no matter how many times he walked.
2-2 pitch. Curveball hit sharply to his right. Gordon gets up. Close. Out at first. He knew he had to unload it in a hurry, D. Gordon.
Well, he made a nice glove play, and then he kind of fell over. And once he fell over, he knew, oh, that's Bryce Harper run. I got to get rid of it quick. Bryce busting it down the line. And a bang-bang play at first, and Tom Kohler likes it. Nice play by D. Gordon.
Ryan Zimmerman next. Zimmerman, fly ball to right field, first time up. That's right off the end of the barrel. Gordon, 2 outs. Ryan Zimmerman 1 for 6 in this series. Wilson Ramos steps in 2 for 5 with an opposite field base hit 2 innings ago. In a situation just like this, bases empty, 2 outs. Reed Johnson followed with a flare over short. But Danny Espinosa bounced out on a 2-0 pitch to quell that rally. Uh-oh, there goes the bat. Look out. It landed in a row of seats that's empty.
Shocking.
And then bounced around. Wilson's been known to let go of the bat on numerous occasions.
Yep, that's throwing the barrel, and it thankfully
got that seat right in front of that gentleman, but I think it got a little bit of him too.
Didn't hit anybody. That guy's checking on the seats. Are you okay, C? All right, we're good.
Be ready for tomorrow's matinee. Fastball up and in, counts even. Likes Marlins pitching. Got a ball out over the plate, taps it. Kohler will play it with the bare hand and get rid of it. And a reach by Justin Bour. The Nationals go 1, 2, 3. 3 singles, the extent of the offense so far.
Fun Pack days. Bryce will hand them to you during the game. With every family Fun Pack ticket, enjoy a hot dog, chips, and a drink while soaking it in some ball. How about that? For tickets and information, visit nationals.com/family.
Through 3.5, nothing doing. 5 total hits in the game. No strikeouts per 9 innings pitched since the start of the 2012 season. And Strasburg, the only guy over that magical 10 per mark. Gio's on that list. Many times unhittable. Foul ball right under us off the bat of Martin Prado in the bottom of the 4th is underway. Strasburg, 46 pitches. That was his 30th in the zone. Prado lined out to Reed Johnson first time in right field.
There's the reach back that Dan was talking about earlier, 95.
And it goes with the curveball and misses 2-1. During the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium, Mets 3, Yankees 1. Their long, actually 5-1 now. Their winning streak came to an end last night. And this ball out into right center, uncatchable. Who's going to cut it off? Reed Johnson will pick it up. It's a leadoff double for a hitter who is so good at using that side of the ballpark, Martin Prado.
Well, Prado hit the ball hard his first time up. He lined out to right field. You see him take that fastball from the inner half and shoot it in the gap in right center. And you knew it was a double right off the bat, and they got it in quick. Do you think Giancarlo Stanton's thinking about going the other way here? That's when he's at his best, actually. When he's hitting the ball to right field, he's good.
He might be wondering if he'll see anything to work with in this at bat. We'll see how the Nats approach it. Nobody out. Still pretty early in the game. You don't want to go around just walking people and putting guys on base. But this is worthy of a conversation on the mound and worthy of some Jeep taking us inside the numbers.
Some serious numbers, too.
Wow.
Jeep not messing around with this one.
So there are players in Major League Baseball making over or around $250 million.
What you don't see below Robinson Cano is Bob Carpenter. He's the next one on that list.
Can't hit Uncle Charlie. And a bouncer left side, but that hit Stanton. That's foul.
So in his 13-year contract, $218 million of that are over the last 7 years, so they backloaded it. The first 3 seasons, 6.5. That's what he's making this year. $9 million next year, 14.5 after that. So $107 million over the first 6 seasons, which computes to an average of $17.83 million over the first 6 seasons of his contract.
I remember everybody picking themselves up off the floor when A-Rod signed the $250 for 10 years with Texas. 1-1 to Stanton, who hit the ball hard to left first time for a single, and that is so hard it couldn't hit foul. He hit it so hard it didn't have time to hook, and the Marlins are on top with back-to-back doubles. That's his 15th RBI.
He had no notions about hitting the ball to the right side. You see Strasburg pound him in. That's a good pitch, and that's where you're supposed to pitch, Dan. You see him stay at the plate for a second just to check it out. He thought it might hook foul. That scores the leadoff double by Prado, and back-to-back doubles here in the 4th. Put the fish ahead.
So Stanton with those 15 RBIs now in the top 2 in the league with Joey Votto and Adrian Gonzalez. Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks leads the league with 16. Here's Marcelo Zuna. Front door first pitch curveball stays up and in.
I think I'd buy a country if I had a $325 million contract.
You could be king, huh?
Yep.
Stanton, by the way, career now batting .400 against Steven Strasburg. That'll back up Reed Johnson. Stanton back to tag. Reed Johnson with a strong one-hop throw to third. And Giancarlo's there with 1 out.
Nice at bat by Ozuna. Productive out, getting the job done. And Reed Johnson makes a nice throw right here. He's always had a good arm, makes it close at third base, but a good piece of situational hitting by the Marlins center fielder. Hit speed on the double, 111.
Oh, my.
If you missed it last night, the home run he hit in Philly was 118.
Another gear for that man. Infield in, Justin Bour says, I'll just go right over, and it's 2-0 Miami. Justin Bour, 12th Major League RBI, his first this year after being called up yesterday.
Well, we talked about the changeup being a key for a Steven Strasburg start. I don't know that I've even seen one tonight. I've seen fastball, I've seen curveball, and the Marlins are coming up hacking this inning. It's all been on first pitch heaters. And the changeup was why, in my opinion, he was so effective last start, going 7 1/3, giving up 1 run against the Phillies. He was throwing it early, he was throwing it late, kept them off balance. But tonight, I haven't seen it.
Here's the catcher, Real Muto, who swung at the first pitch his first time up, and that's a curveball for a strike. You are right. Puzzling.
I don't know if it's a feel thing or, I mean, I know it's a field pitch, or a Wilson Ramos not calling it, but yeah, I may have missed one looking down, but I don't think I've seen a changeup yet tonight. And 22% off speed, I think, is all curves.
94 over but low, counts even 1-1. Marlins now have 5 hits, 3 in this inning. 24-year-old catcher, JT Real Muto. Hacks one up the middle. Espinosa, still time to turn 2, and then the ball comes out of his glove. Not one out registered on the play. His first error of the year.
Ball hit hard, and it comes out of Espinosa's glove, and then I think the problem there is he tries to pick it up with the glove. For you kids at home, it's called boot in a bare hand. If you ever boot a baseball, pick it up with your bare hand, because you can't always feel the ball that's sitting on the ground in your glove. He went for it with the glove. Once it was on the ground, he couldn't pick it up. You kick it, pick it up with your bare hand.
Here's Ichiro. Strasburg has to battle now to keep this from being a huge inning. Now there's a changeup, 87. Ichiro actually backed out away from the plate, and the ball broke back. That bounces, and Ramos a good block. Did he double up there?
He did.
Nationals, Major League leading 18th error. Base hit left side. Bour does not run that fast. Worth retrieves it. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Might see Steve McCaddy right here. This is where he usually comes out to calm down the big right-hander when something goes south behind him, and there he is. This has nothing to do with mechanics other than, hey, you're 1 pitch away. Give me a ground ball, and hopefully the play will be made behind you.
Four hits and an error in the inning.
I'm being told 3 changeups he's thrown so far this game, and you just saw 2 back-to-back to Ichiro to start that at-bat.
And as FP mentioned earlier, one of their hottest hitters, Danny Echeverria, coming in. Struck out looking first time. Pitcher on deck. Still a chance to keep this a 2-run inning. Echeverria 3 for 22 career against Strasburg with 7 strikeouts. Right side, got to turn 2. Desmond from Espinosa. The Nats do just that. And now the pitcher has to lead off next inning. If Washington comes back to win this one, that'll be the biggest pitch of Strasburg's night.
Having an animated discussion in the dugout. Could be about a lot of things at this point, and I'm not going to sit here and speculate what I think it's about. But obviously Strasburg frustrated, and wow, there's a number of reasons why he could be at this point.
Well, the Nats continue to make some errors behind their pitchers, although the Espinosa error did not affect the scoreboard there. Cost him some extra pitches in the inning, and he finally did get the double play ball.
So the Ichiro saw all 3 changeups he's thrown today. There was changeup, changeup, changeup. He tripled up on it.
On one hitter.
One hitter.
Out of 17 so far. Johnson, Espinosa, Strasburg. Top of the 5th inning. Reed Johnson, base hit. Up the middle first time. On the inside edge. This is Reed Johnson's 13th year in the big leagues. Toronto, Cubs, Dodgers, Cubs, Braves, Marlins, now Nats. In fact, he's in their media guide. They let him go. The Nats signed him right at the end of spring training. .38 years of age. He's always kept himself in great shape. Plays hard. 0-2. On a pitch up, he pops it up. Short left field. Echeverria out. He will take it. Next 5 ball games for the Nats starting tomorrow in the series finale here with Gio going against Dan Herron. And then in Atlanta, Doug Fister, Eric Stoltz, Max Scherzer, Julio Teheran, Jordan Zimmermann, Alex Wood. And then Thursday night's the first of 4 at the home of the current National League East leaders, the Mets, who are 13-4 and winning today. Gio in his own backyard tomorrow. There's Danny Espinosa. Kohler working pretty quickly here. 2-run lead. He's getting the ball. He's ready. It's a guy with a career ERA of 4.22. 2-3 in 5 previous starts against the Nats with a 4.03. So they've had success against him. Not today. Wow. 87, he turned it over, and it caught the outer edge of the strike zone, not where his catcher was set up. Nissan will track it.
That was a backup slider. It really didn't slide, but in the strike zone nonetheless.
Steven Strasburg with 2 outs. Ball 2. Tom Kohler, 6'3", 233. He wouldn't walk the pitcher and give Escobar an at bat here, would he?
62 pitches for Kohler, 39 strikes, 23 balls.
And he's really mixed up his whole repertoire through these first 5 innings. Nats pretty much saw everything that he throws early. He's kept him off balance.
The one thing I haven't seen on a consistent basis this year, and it's a small sample size, you remember last year where the Nats would kind of go quietly first time around the order, but they would all do their homework, and they'd come up the second time and there'd be adjustments made and the line would move? Haven't seen that by Matt Williams' club yet this year, where the second time around they're making the adjustment.
Strasburg in the air to right. Giancarlo Stanton short of the track at a 1-2-3. 8 in a row. 10 of the last 11 for Kohler, working with a 2-run lead. Presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Got to get that ball rolling indoors. Cloudy conditions, as it usually is here late in the afternoon, early evening in Miami. Steven Strasburg, an 18-pitch fourth inning, but that thing could have been a disaster. Got out of it with 2 runs, keeping his team in the game for now. Opponents only hitting .252 against the Nats starters, but there is no way we thought this staff would be 5-6 after 17 games.
Could there be a bigger difference between Fenway Park and this place, the last 2 places we've been?
No.
That was my thought of that scenic of the stadium coming back.
Yeah. Tradition versus glitz. Hitters Park versus Canyon. This is Tom Kohler leading off.
A green monster and then just a monster.
Green monster and then too much green.
Just that.
Michael Moore's hit one in there during batting practice today. I didn't see a splash, but I heard a loud crash. I think he broke something out there.
Good.
Curveball. Strasburg thought he had it at the knees. And the count's 2-2. It's a fastball that'll dispose of the opposing pitcher. Leading off the bottom of the 5th, Strasburg's 4th K.
You know, Carv, that point I made last half about the second time around, how they used to do damage last year. I think that was a byproduct of the first time around, thinking about it during the break. They used to make pitchers work the first time around and not necessarily have the results. You know, you got Span, Rendon, Worth, 3 guys in a row that are really making a pitcher work to get him out. So, A, they were seeing lots of pitches. B, they were making opponents work hard. And C, second time around, they saw everything he had. Maybe he was a little gassed because he had to get through that lineup the first time, and they would do the damage second, third time around facing a starter. And when all 3 of those guys get locked in, that's probably going to happen again.
That's a good-looking changeup. D. Gordon geared up. Kind of shook his head as if to say, oop, I thought that was the express. Counts 0-2. Bouncing ball to Espinoza last time. He's 1 for 2 tonight. And then Strasburg with another changeup in the dirt. Right to the inside corner, handcuffing Gordon.
That said, the Nats were 10-7 in their first 17 last year, 7-10 in their first 17 this year. So with all the stuff, I guess, that's been going on, 7-10 isn't the worst thing in the world, and you just have to hover until you get to full strength. Guys that haven't been here get to full strength, and you'll be all right.
That's a great curveball in the dirt, and D. Gordon, no interest in running. So, Dan Coco, how's the skipper doing through all this?
Bob, he says we're close. Matt Williams said today that there are a couple positive things with this ball club that he leads him to believe that the Nationals are close to turning this around. Guys, they've been in pretty much every ball game that they've played. They've only lost 1 game by more than 3 runs, and their run differential on the season was only a -4 coming into today. Matt Williams says we just got to grind. We got to keep getting ourselves in these situations, putting runners on, putting them in scoring position. We'll find a way to get to deliver in the end. We got to grind through this stretch, but we're getting close.
Thank you, Dan. Good thoughts from Matt Williams. And a fastball in there to Martin Prado.
Just hover around 500 until you start clicking.
There's a knee-buckling, body-leaning curveball. Strike 2.
Yeah. Stood him straight up.
There's a changeup. I think on that second pitch, Strasburg had Martin Prado doing yoga. We go to the top of the 6th. Any position to get some offense going. Escobar, Desmond, and Worth coming up. And Strasburg overmatches some hitters in the 5th inning.
Marlins Park as we head to the top of the 6th inning. Come out to Nats Park on Monday, May 4th, for an exciting matchup between the Nats and the Marlins. 7:05 start. First 25,000 fans. You get a Livan Hernandez bobblehead. There he is right there, the big guy.
I think that's a curveball grip.
Commemorates the Nationals' inaugural first pitch on April 4th, 2005, and features the first bobblehead to appear in a Nats road gray uniform. Levo. I want one, and I want one.
Top of the 6th inning, Escobar. 66 pitches, 42 strikes. From right now, the untouchable Tom Kohler. 8 in a row, 10 of 11. First 3 starts, he went 6, 5 1/3, and then the disaster at New York. 3 1/3. Escobar pops one up. Looks like room for Justin Bour. By the way, the Nats have one game this year where they have had more than 10 hits. Not 10 or more, but more than 10. That was the 10-5 win at Boston on Getaway Day, the 15th. Milwaukee and Philly, the other teams in the league that only have one game with more than 10 hits. So a couple of mini explosions, but nothing on a consistent basis. Ian Desmond, strikeout, fly ball. He's ahead. That ball tailing down and into Ian Desmond. Echeverria on target, 2 down. Up to Worth to get it to Harper. Here's the offense. Ramos and Johnson back-to-back hits in the 2nd. And then Escobar a 1-out hit in the 3rd, but really the only ball hit hard was Wilson Ramos's base hit among the hits. Bryce Harper's hit one sharply to 2nd. But the Nats have not centered Tom Kohler hardly at all today. Worth a fly ball to center. He hit that ball pretty well first inning. Struck out next time on the 0-2 breaking ball way outside. Off the end of the bat. There's a chance. And Jason Worth gets a knock that breaks up a streak of 10 consecutive hitters retired.
Jason Worth with a thing, as in a beautiful thing, off the end of the bat. So maybe that makes up for the first time when he hit it on the screws. This is a slider / cutter that kind of goes right off the end, perfectly placed. You'd think there'd be a lot of bloopers in this ballpark with how big the outfield is, but Jason Worth definitely take that. Bloop and a bomb, and you got a new game.
Well, this is the guy you want at the plate. If you need an extra base hit, Bryce Harper. Kohler has struck him out looking. Gave up a hot shot to second, leading off the fourth, but D. Gordon made a good play to throw Bryce out.
He'd be foolish to give him anything that he can pull.
Agreed. And a foul tip on 91. Bryce has visited the upper deck in this ballpark before. In fact, I think it happened 3 years ago, the first time he ever played here.
Like before the game, he walked up there?
No. A baseball from Bryce visited the upper deck. He has no interest in seeing how far that is from home plate. 1-1 pitch.
That's just to go back outside, you'd think, with this next pitch, or maybe even an off-speed pitch. But Bryce has been covering the changeup and the curve, I think, just a little better than the fastball at this point. People have been trying to trick him when they're behind with off-speed, and he's been on it.
Mr. Harper doesn't swing. It's not a strike. 3-1.
Kohler got away with one. That was a hanger. Maybe too high for Bryce to offer.
Bryce Harper thought he took a walk for the 10th straight game, but it was low in the zone. Counts full. Mercedes-Benz will track strike two.
Well, he's looking for something. Bell tie had 3-1. So pitcher's pitch, tip your cap.
Yeah.
See what he does. 3-2.
Worth will be on the move here. Always important in a ballpark with big gaps to get that runner at first a little head start.
3-2 curve.
Bryce Harper does take a walk for the 10th straight game, and that's the 17th of the year. Kohler's first base on balls today.
You know, when you talk about his walks, Carp, your first instinct is to say they're walking Bryce Harper, but he's earning every bit of these walks unless they're the intentional. It seems like they're all 3-2. They're all nasty, borderline pitches. He's seeing the ball big, and he's really working hard for those walks. It's not just 4-pitch, go to first, we're going to get Ryan Zimmerman. He's really earned him.
Agreed. Seeing the ball great. Ryan Zimmerman's turn now to do some damage. Fly ball to right. Ground ball to second. Tried to go oppo twice. And that tails back at 92 for a strike.
It's a good take. That's a ground ball waiting to happen. He's looking for something up.
Close.
I think the Nats were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position last night.
Stranded 6 runners in a 3-2 loss. Only had 6 hits all night. 4 today.
Tom Kohler's last worry should be Jason Worth at second base.
Yeah. That's right-hander Sam Dyson. Zimmerman up the middle. Speared by Gordon. Out at second. Speed on the bases, range on the infield. And D. Gordon keeps the Nats off the board here.
Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria. 2-0 Marlins as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Want to show you a little sequence here. Steven Strasburg versus Martin Prado. First pitch fastball, boom, 95. Watch this curveball. Second pitch, buckles him. Whoops. And then how about a changeup for a 3-pitch see ya? And when Steven Strasburg's at his best, folks, he's throwing all 3 pitches for strikes. You don't know what's coming. And that's the first time he's used all 3 pitches to one hitter tonight.
Power matchup here. Giancarlo Stanton, a base hit, a double, an RBI. Strasburg with the curveball just missed away. 2-0. Stanton came into this series hitting only .241. Ball 3. Actually went 0 for 4 last night to dip to .226.
He's swinging. He's taking.
I would say he should have the green light anytime. 3-0 all season.
The green light in his car on the way to the field.
95 when tailing inside, and Steven Strasburg, second walk of the day. Brings in Marcell Ozuna. And Steven Strasburg missing on that side of the plate now with 2 fastballs and there a changeup. The last pitch to Stanton, and then 2-0 to Marcell Ozuna, who has struck out and lined out to right. Pulls it, base hit. A lot of topspin on that ball. Escobar, no chance. 2 on, nobody out. Left-handed batter Bohr next.
So Ozuna hits this pitch, and Steven Strasburg was really frustrated after, very animated, screaming into the dugout, yelling at himself. I don't know if it was the pitch selection or the location, but he's frustrated.
Justin Bohr, perfect day, a walk and RBI single. to put the Marlins up by 2 innings ago. Up the middle. That's an RBI hit. One runner scores. Stanton. Ozuna to third. And it's now 3-0. And Justin Bour sending a message to the Marlins that maybe you should leave me up here for a while.
I mean, the pitch selection tonight has been questionable, and I have to be honest about it. It's my job. Justin Bour last time swung at a first pitch fastball for an RBI, and this time they go the same pitch, a first pitch fastball again for another RBI. And usually as a hitter, when you get a hit on a first pitch one time up, you never see that same pitch again. They tried it, it didn't work, and he made him pay.
Blake Trinan warming up and trying to get hot in a hurry. Runners at first and third. Nobody out. And the Marlins trying to deliver a haymaker here in the 6th inning. So Real Muto, the catcher, and Echeverria, the shortstop, the only starters without a hit other than Tom Kohler, the pitcher. Infield back, at least at double play depth up the middle. Escobar just a little behind the baseline at third. Almost blocks the curveball.
And I always say, Carp, my theory is even if a catcher's putting down signs, you're in control out there. It's your ball game. And if you know that Bour had a hit in an RBI situation on a first pitch fastball last time, he's going to be swinging again the next time up. And we've seen a lot of first pitch fastball swinging from the whole Marlins squad here today. They're hunting that heater, and they're looking for number 1 early. And that's been the book on Strasburg for a while, because he's got the wipeout changeup and the wipeout curveball. Get that first heater, get the straight one, and have your at-bat be over with.
Ball about 10 feet foul, going the other way. Change up, had the right-hander way ahead. That can't stop. By Ramos, full count.
And even though the way the offense is going these last couple of games, it looks bleak, this is still a huge situation in this game. I mean, you never know what's coming out of the Marlins bullpen. You score 3 or 4. I mean, you just don't know. So you can't sit here and think, you know, as a fan, that this doesn't count right here. You get out of this, you're still okay. This is a really huge situation in this ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Or even a player. A lot of ball game left.
Three-two with nobody out. Double play ball. Desmond turns it from Espinosa. The third 4-6-3 double play of the day, but Ozuna scores, and it's 4-0.
I'll trade a couple outs for a run. Nice turn by Espinosa, or nice feed by Espinosa. Nice turn by Desmond. Bang, bang at first.
Ichiro with the bases empty. Base hit through the third base shortstop hole last time up, and that's a strike.
I just never understood how Ichiro hits with all that movement going on, running out of the batter's box. I mean, the hand-eye coordination that he has is just like no other, really. How many other guys have had that much movement running out of the box, hitting 95-mile-an-hour fastballs?
None. He's seen over 35,000 pitches in his career. Well, and then he only played 9 years in Japan before that, so it's probably over 60,000 pitches. Strasburg with the changeup, 88. His 9-year batting average in Japan was .353. 9 years.
That's pretty good.
With all the junk they throw. Espinosa to his left. Steven Strasburg, good job again, like he did in the fourth, to keep an inning from being disastrous. 4-0, 9 outs to go.
Steven Strasburg. I would love to be a fly on the wall down there right now.
Six innings, 4 runs on 8 hits. 3 double play balls have kept this from getting out of hand. So Strasburg has made big pitches at certain times during the game today. Tom Kohler, he's at 83 pitches through 6. His longest outing, as we mentioned, his season opening, a 1-0 loss to the Braves when he gave up 2 runs on 5 hits in 6 innings.
Say what you want about what they're discussing. I have no idea. I mean, I have a few ideas, actually, but I like the fire. I like the fact that he's animated down there. I like the fact that he was fired up on the mound tonight.
Ramos, Johnson, Espinosa, top 7. If anybody gets on a pinch hitter, you would think. Strasburg at 97 pitches. As animated and emotional as we've ever seen Steven, and I might add angry, during a start.
He's heated. He's hacked off about something.
Ramos taps one straight back. Well struck up the middle. Wilson Ramos 2 for 3.
I mean, the only thing I'd come up with it's certain pitches in certain situations to certain hitters. I mean, that's the only thing based on, what I said about the Bohr at bat last inning. It might have something to do with that.
And by the way, Wilson Ramos becomes the first Nat to have 2 hits in a ball game in this series. Reed Johnson next. And that will be 2. Dee Gordon putting on a show today.
Nats need a big right-handed hitting second baseman because the little left-handed hitting second baseman the last couple of series have killed him.
Number 8 man, Danny Espinosa. Clint Robinson steps out on deck.
Colton Wong with a big series. Dee Gordon's done a good job here.
And this ball skying to left. Ichiro got a great jump. He's waiting. The Nationals go quickly after the leadoff single. 7th inning stretch. Maybe a time to take stock. Try to figure out how to get out of this mess. It's our Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the order coming up against the Nats bullpen.
Steven Strasburg as we go to the 7th. Doug Fister has taken a little bit of a mentoring role when it comes to Blake Treinen recently. One sinker baller talking up another. And Fister told me yesterday that his message to Treinen has been fairly simple. It's that when you're a young pitcher, you've probably got a lot of pressures going on in your head. You feel like you want to help the team. You want to prove that you can stay in the big leagues. But Fister's been telling Treinen, you belong here. You throw 98 with a dynamite slider. Don't let a couple outings where you don't get the results get you down. You're a sinker ball guy. You're going to give up your share of ground ball hits. Your job is to induce contact. Those type of outings are going to happen. You're good enough with the stuff that you have to pitch at this level to help this ball club. Go out there and don't let the past results affect you.
Love that.
Blake Treinen taking that to heart.
That's what good veterans do. Take a young kid under your wing and help him out. Give him advice, and Blake Treinen soak it in like a sponge.
Echeverria, a strikeout, a double play ball. And against Blake Treinen, he's 0 for 1 career with a grounder. Tom Kohler has only thrown 89 pitches. That was a 6-pitch 7th. He's on deck. So they want him to go 8. Never had a complete game in the big leagues. Who knows? 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strasburg 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. 3 double play balls. That's a big time breaking ball by Blake Treinen for the strikeout. Steven threw 97 pitches, 61 strikes.
A wipeout slider here by Blake Trinan. Watch this one. Geared up for that sinker in. You throw the slider to the other side. Saw his shoulder fly out there. He had no chance. Yeah, that's the advantage of having 96 that comes into a right-hander. You have to start cheating to get to that. And once you start cheating to get to that, the slider on the other side is unhittable.
I mean, that 96 moves like a Livan Hernandez swing back fastball with a whole lot more heat on it. That's low and away.
And if you missed the open today, we talked about how young this bullpen is and how they really haven't had a cushion of a lead when they go out there. You know, Aaron Barrett, Blake Trinan, Grace, all these guys without a lot of experience are going out there in one-run games or tie games. Very rarely this season have they had a 3-run cushion or a 4-run cushion to go out there. It's like every little mistake they make is magnetized or magnified. Sorry, I was buckled by the pink backpacks once again. and they really have no room for error. And they're still kind of feeling their way around.
Right side, Ryan Zimmerman. He will be able to lead Trinan to the bag, 2 outs.
And you're hoping that these high stress have to be perfect innings, and you look at the experience right there, leads to experience, and they're learning on the fly. And in September and hopefully October, that they'll be savvy veterans, and the April experiences they've had are beneficial. Drew flexing.
D. Gordon 1 for 3. Several good defensive plays. Staying away from the lefty. 2 balls, 1 strike. This will be a 1-inning outing for Blake. Pitcher due up in the 8th. And I didn't think any of those were strikes. The scoreboard was wrong at 2-1. That was a 3-0 pitch, and he walked on 4.
Pete Nats are in town, 24th through the 27th. What's today, 25th? Yeah,
yep.
Today's the 25th. So a couple more days. Call the number on your screen or go to PotomacNationals.com for all the information you could possibly want.
Martin Prado.
He was going.
Thinking about a stolen base to get them out of slam range.
Well, he stole an 8 and been caught 5. That's not good enough. I mean, that's telling me that he doesn't know when to go. I mean, your percentage has to be better than that. And I know that Brett Butler's really worked with him on his bunting and his base stealing. The Marlins third base coach. There he is. He was fantastic at both of those. One of the best bunters I've ever seen, and a great base runner on top of it.
D. Gordon was 77% last year. He stole 64, caught 19 times.
Caught up with Brett yesterday before the game, and I said, do you remember Montreal when you grabbed me behind the cage and taught me how to bunt? He goes, I do. I said, you told me to stick my head right down there by the barrel, and that placement was everything, and don't run out of there too soon. And to slide your hand at the end of the bat, and don't worry about where the third baseman is playing, that you can still get a hit. He's like, I do. He was with the Dodgers at the time and just gave me a clinic on bunting in batting practice that I'll never forget.
He was fun to watch.
Yep.
Trinan holding. Runner frozen. Out of play. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, 5 caught stealing the most of the bigs.
D. Gordon, a Florida guy. He was a basketball star in high school at Avon Park. Didn't play baseball until his senior year. He played small college ball at Southeastern Florida, an NAIA school, and then played in Oklahoma for a while at a very good baseball junior college there, Seminole. A bunch of major leaguers have played there.
And by all accounts, a top-notch individual as well. Marlins rave about what kind of a guy he is. And right now,
Redmond's team's turning things around. They're trying to win their 4th straight today. And if they win this game, they equal the Nats record. 0-2, runner holding. Nasty hook, inning over. Well done by Blake Trinan. 2-out walk, but a couple of Ks. So in the 8th, the number 9 spot, top of the order, getting late in Miami.
Nats down to their last 6 outs as we head to the top of the 8th inning. 4-0 Marlins. Time for Toyota Keys for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season. 8 strikeouts today times 37 is $692. Right?
Math major at the U, huh?
Yep.
Lonaway and Clint Robinson on Jackie Robinson Day here. Pinch hitting for the Nats to lead off the 8th. First time he sees Tom Kohler strike on the inside edge. And the breaking ball fouled. Rafael Martin for the bottom of the 8th.
I was told today that the music is so loud in the Clevelander that when you're in the Nats bullpen, you can't even hear the PA announcer say the name of the hitter.
You heard what?
Exactly.
Tom Kohler, 1 out into the 8th inning. That's a giant nightclub disguised as a ballpark.
Nats fans never miss a moment, even the team is out of town. Follow @Masson Nationals on Instagram for sights from the road, behind-the-scenes moment, exclusive contests, and so much more. Search @Masson Nationals or @FP Santangelo 7, and you'll see all kinds of cool stuff. Self-promotion. Sorry, Carp. You're not on Instagram, or I would have put that out there.
I had to wait over 4 years for you to promote yourself?
Yep. Never do. 4 minutes is more like it.
Brian Morris pitched a scoreless 8th here last night. Despite a couple of walks, and Escobar shoots one to right field. So he and Wilson Ramos are the multi-hit guys of the day. Escobar 18 for 63 now.
Such a good approach. He's always getting his hands inside the ball. It seems like everything hits his barrel. And another base hit for Yunel Escobar. And load him up and see what happens. Because that would be that Harper guy.
Here's Ian Desmond, his hitting streak on the line here. And here comes Mike Redmond. 18,129 here today, and they might be ready to make some noise for their starting pitcher. Redmond hasn't asked for the ball quite yet, and now he gets it.
Well, he should get a standing O. What a job by Tom Kohler here against the Nats.
He gives the Nationals only 6 hits on the day. And former Nat, he's 1-1 with a 3.32 ERA here. Gio is 1-1 in 3 starts, 3.44 earned run average. Dan Herron 143 big league wins. Gio has 81. Nats Extra 12:30 tomorrow on Masson 2. We join you from Marlins Park at 1 o'clock. First pitch around 1:10. Here's Brian Morris, who pitched in the 8th inning last night. And Ian Desmond hit a ground ball to short against him.
The fastball's average at 95.5 this year for Morris. He'll cut the fastball at 91. Slider 84. Opponents hitting 222, right? He's just 188.
So Desmond career 0 for 2 against him. Escobar short lead at first. Up and in.
This could be a situation, and if you're in the first base dugout, this is what you're hoping, that anybody else but Tom Kohler looks like good hitting, because Tom Kohler was on his game today.
95 pitches, 60 strikes. Up and in, Ian Desmond can't get to 95.
A little rise to it, huh?
Seemingly, yeah. Desmond with authority, the other way foul.
That's the last place that Morris wanted to throw that pitch. I think he was trying to climb the ladder, throwing even higher, and he left it right down the middle. Nats need base runners.
Two through six, 1 for 8 with a walk today. And Desmond will sky this one out of play. Nice play on the hop.
Could take that 96, had some cut to it. Wiping the sweat out of his helmet.
IDs the pitch low. Ian Desmond works the count full.
Well, that's a big pitch if you want to jump back into this ball game. Job of spoiling that. 91, little cut to it. So there's like a little leather band in that helmet, and it's for comfort, right? It's padded. But when your head is sweating, that pad can get real slippery and your helmet kind of slides around. That's why Ian's wiping it out after every pitch.
And a 3-2 strikes him out. Second out of the inning. It'll be up to Jason Worth.
Yeah, might have chased ball 4 right here. Fastball up. Like the one he swung at earlier in the at-bat. And he's frustrated.
Jason Worth flared one into right last time up. 1 for 3 today. 1 for 6 with a walk in the series. One for 1 career plus a walk against Brian Morris, who gave him a base on balls last night. Morris walked Worth and Harper back to back with 2 outs in the 8th, but he got Ryan Zimmerman on a ground ball. That was the Nats' last threat in a 3-2 loss. Outfield well around to the right for Jason. He's got 95, 96 and keeps on throwing it.
It's got some run to it and lots of life at the end. A couple of those pitches to Desmond had that appearance of taking off right when they got to the dirt. 3/4 guy kind of getting underneath his fastball.
Worth will serve one to right. Jason Worth, a multi-hit day, and Bryce Harper is coming in.
Well, it's going to be an interesting decision for Mike Redmond. He's got a lefty up in the bullpen. He's locked and loaded. Even though Bryce Harper doesn't represent the tying run. You see Mike Dunn. He's ready. He's looking down. Are you coming to get me? What are we doing?
Maybe the only thing that keeps him in is the fact it's a 4-run game. Bryce can't tie it.
Yeah. Well, this is where you like to see Bryce be real aggressive, catch something out front, and make this a 1-run job.
Bryce has a career homer against Morris. Walked him last night. Nats had 2 straight hits back in the second. Ramos and Johnson. They get a 1-out hit here from Escobar, a 2-out knock from Worth, and Bryce Harper usually will do more with this.
This late 96'd him, so it wasn't like it was pus. I mean, that was a pretty good fastball, just a hair late. A pair of fastballs right there. This is a dangerous pitch to a dangerous hitter. I mean, they went inner half to Bryce Harper. Is the short portion right? I guess it worked.
335 down in that corner. Gets to 392 in the gap. Now it needs to get to contact for Bryce Harper. A little low and inside. Bryce, I think, wants a new baseball.
When you're a good fastball hitter and you're getting them down the middle, even if they're 96 and you foul them off, it gets in your head a little bit. I don't care who you are, especially when you're looking for it.
In the dirt, 2-2. They'll have to get another new baseball. The last 2 have bounced on their way to the Miami catcher, Real Muto, and Bryce Harper battling the count back even. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Target in. Right in there. Inning over. 2 hits for the Nats. They've stranded 7. Shut out through 8 now by Marlins pitching.
Inning, back-to-back doubles. First, Martin Prado goes right center field. Then Giancarlo Stanton hits a tracer down the left field line. That would score Prado. A good at-bat by Marcelo Zuna, moving Stanton to third. And a base hit by Justin Bour would score a couple in the fourth, 2 more in the sixth, and that's where we're at. 4-0 Marlins as we go to the bottom of the eighth.
Rafael Martin for the Nats. And for the rookie who debuted in Boston, his 3rd big league appearance.
He's got that extra fastball, 88 to 89 miles an hour, and it has to do with deception. It has to. I mean, he misses so many bats with a fastball below 90. He got a good slider to go with it, too. There it is.
For a strike to Giancarlo Stanton, who's had a perfect day. Single, RBI double, a walk, 2 runs scored.
He's K'd 8 of the 12 batters he's faced as a major leaguer. Pretty good pitch.
Yeah. "30 years of age." Fastball up, and there's a missed bat at 89.
I mean, it just boggles your mind that Blake Trinan throws 98, and you see a lot of contact with Blake because it's a nasty sinker. He gets the ground balls, and this guy throws 89, 90 and misses bats. And I like that StatCast thing and how it's getting spin rate at the end. Guys that get the ball out front off their fingertips and the ball's still spinning hard when it gets to home plate, you know, that's the one that's tough for hitters to hit. That's late life. When we say late life, that means that ball's still spinning when it gets in the hitting zone. And some guys' spin rate kind of slows down. I guarantee you that Martin's ball is every bit of 90 right when it leaves his hand and at the plate.
Goes with the slider right off the end of Giancarlo's bat. And that fastball running up and away foul.
Our stage manager, Paul Newman, just handed me a note that said Stanton backward is no Nats. That's something Harry Carey would have said. And that's...
Stanton touches one off. How far? Real far. It's his 5th of the year and his 2nd RBI of the day.
That last swing on the fastball when he fouled it straight back told Wilson Ramos and Martin that he was on it. So what do they try to do? They go to the slider, maybe trying to bounce it, but Martin left it over the plate, and Stanton got extended, and when he gets extended, that's all she wrote.
Giancarlo Stanton now has 23 career homers against the Nationals and 55 RBIs.
Triple shy of the cycle. Single, double homer today for Giancarlo Stanton.
Well, I hope he gets another chance to bat, because that means there will have been a dramatic comeback.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike, and the crowd still buzzing from what they just saw.
He didn't even get that.
And this ball popped up into center from the bat of Ozuna. Bryce Harper, 1 out.
All right, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time. This is brought to you by Miller Lite. And Justin Bour's second at-bat, fastball right down the middle for his second RBI of the day. So a couple of RBI singles for the George Mason product. Steven Strasburg shaking his head and a heated discussion about something with his pitching coach. There's a first pitch slider.
A little bit low. So Justin Bour, first game back in the big leagues, a walk and a pair of actually a pair of RBI singles for 2 RBIs. That's in there. 1-1.
You would think with Giancarlo Stanton only being 25 years old, there's going to be a time as you look at the hit speed 103 where he turns it into a baseball game and it's not just about the contract. Probably a lot of pressure on him, Carp, initially in the season to perform when his team was underperforming, maybe taking the weight of all that on his shoulders when you talk to some Marlins people, and he'll get into a rhythm, get into a groove, and it'll just be baseball again, and all the talk won't be about 325 unless it's his average.
I've had a chance to chat with him on a couple of occasions. He is everything you would want your young star to be. That ball's going to drop. JT Realmuto, the catcher, and he's on for the first time. That'll bring in Ichiro with 2 out, 1 on here in the 8th. He's 1 for 3 today. He is 145 hits away from 3,000 on U.S. soil. All right, add another. 2 for 4 day. Next up, Adeiny Echeverria.
No, next up is MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Rafael Martin wants a new baseball. Echeverria, a rare 0 for 3. He's on a 7-game hitting streak and was hitting just under 500 over the last week. 2 strikeouts and a double play ball. That ball jacked way out of here. That's going to make it 8-0. Quite a way to extend a hitting streak in your last at bat.
Yeah, right down the middle. He knew it as soon as he hit it. We knew it as soon as he hit it. And if you remember in spring training on one of the broadcasts, I thought the Marlins were going to be one of the best teams in the National League. And I haven't wavered on that opinion once. They need some starting pitching. When Jose Fernandez comes back in July, they'll have it. But this is a good lineup and a good baseball team. I don't care how they started.
Reed Brignac is hitting for the right-hander Brian Morris. Well, this is not a close game. Even kind of felt that way when it was just 4-0. Got to come back and battle tomorrow. Maybe you have to hit bottom before you can start your move up. And right now, the Nats about to lose their 4th in a row. This is the bottom point of the season. I think the bottom point of last season happened here too. Remember that unbelievable rally the Marlins put on in the 9th inning of a ball game? I think they scored 5 or 6 runs last year. The Nats were reeling, and boom, all of a sudden they were able to turn things around.
Well, if your bottom point of the season is in April, you're okay.
Point well taken.
And I talked about it yesterday. I mean, there's so many games left. There's so much season left. You're not out of the gate the way you wanted to, but I talked about it yesterday. The 2001 Oakland A's started 3-13. They won 102 games. So Matt Williams' squad not looking great right now. There's no other way to put it, but there's like 5 months of baseball left. 5 months. Some things have to change, and you have a feeling they will.
D. Gordon, the 8th Marlin to bat in this inning, that started with a Giancarlo Stanton home run. Fastball up and away. Rough 8th inning for Rafael Martin. The Marlins 2 homers, 4 runs, and they lead by 8. DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code DUGOUT for free entry. Long distance. Stanton Echeverria, 8th inning. Washington area Lexus dealers, when the Nats hit a home run, donate $250 to the Children's National Health System for a great cause, and that's from Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. The Nats have not gone deep in this series. Right-hander Sam Dyson, 26 years of age, 31 games out of the bullpen for the Marlins last year with a 2.14 ERA. Ichiro evidently just broke a record of runs scored in the big leagues by a Japanese-born player.
Standing ovation, tip of the cap. Cool moment.
And that includes numbers in Japan and the U.S. That breaks the record of the great slugger Sadaharu Oh.
Graceful and classy are the two adjectives that come to mind with when you think about Ichiro, at least for me. And he can hit.
And for a lot of people, the question that has burned for many decades, who's on first? It's Ichiro. Amazing, just amazing what he's done. Ryan Zimmerman, 2 for 4 career against the right-hander Sam Dyson. Ryan 0 for 3 today. 1 for 7 in the series, and that one comes tailing back. Gio will try to salvage one tomorrow, unless a miracle's in the offing right here. Ryan Zimmerman walks away at taking third strike on a fastball.
I feel like in order to change things up, that you and I should do the broadcast from the Clevelander tomorrow.
I know, I'm kind of a family man. I think I'll stay right where I am.
I mean, just the front row there.
Yeah. Clevelander with a major league game, I don't know.
Just trying to mix it up.
I know. I think we can do better.
All right, you ride one of the Pinocchio Dolphins and I'll stay up here.
I would rather attempt that than watch a game from the
Something.
Ramos, a 2-hopper up the middle. D. Gordon there. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight with Nats Extra. They'll try to make some sense out of this.
And then they'll throw it back to us and ask us if we can make some sense out of this. And
it'll be tough.
I got nothing.
Reed Johnson for the Nats. Escobar 2 hits today. Ramos 2 hits. Jason Worth 2. Rest of the team 1. Into right, backing up Giancarlo, and that's it. The Marlins have won the series. 2 hours and 35 minutes for the